fine day like today, what's better to do than making a batch of home brew? I'm going to be making a batch of cranberry ale. I picked this up from Costco. It's about 3 quarts cranberry juice. I'm going to sit this in the shade. Alright, so I got my water heated up to about 184 degrees already, and about ready to start the mashing process. I'm going to get my mashing process started, and then I'm going to go over my recipe and to see why I made my recipe that way. My mash tun is a cooler. It's well insulated, and I found a real good thing to use for this mash tun is the I think it's a vegetable steamer a lot of people use for cooking, and it can expand, so whatever size you have for your cooler, you don't really have to specially make anything for it. So I'll set this in there. Stick my temperature probe in it. Let's see. I'm going to let it mash for about an hour. It's 12:40 right now. 1:40, we're going to come back to it. Right now my temperature is reading 159. Still climbing a little bit, 159.5. Oh, by the way, I was heating my water up to 180 to mash out. So I'm almost 5 gallons right here. Got about a half a gallon to go. So I'm just gonna stop when I hit the 5 gallon mark. Alright, let's have a little discussion about the recipe. I made up this recipe and based on the belief that cranberry juice is pretty tart, pretty sour, and by the time you finish fermentation, all the sugar in it will be converted to alcohol, so you'll leave the beer pretty sour and tart. So I want to make this recipe a little bit maltier, if you will, to balance out the sourness. So I intend to mash at a higher temperature, which you saw. It was at 160 Fahrenheit, which will leave more unfermentable sugar in the beer. So this sweetness is going to balance out the bitterness. The sourness and the tart of the cranberry juice. So I made the assumption that I'll have 68% mash efficiency, and I was targeting 1050 as my pre-boil gravity, which I just took a sample. Okay. I'm gonna have my base malt about 85%. I use 2-row as my base, and then I add about 4% Munich in it to add a little bit maltiness to it. And 40 level bond crystal is there to add a little bit to enhance the color. I think the overall color is going to be red, but by the time the cranberry juice gets diluted in the whole mixture, it's going to be kind of pinkish. I assume, I don't know, but I think it's going to be pinkish. So I added 9% 40 lava bond crystal to enhance the color, so the beer doesn't come out as pink. And finally, about 2% carrot peels. That'll help with the foam retention and adds a little bit smoothness to the mouthfeel. So based on 68% mash efficiency and the original gravity target 1050, I came up with this grain bill. So I ended up having a 8.7% base and a 8.7 pound base and a 0.4 pound Munich, and a pound crystal, and a 0.2 pound carrot peels. So the total grain came out to 10.3 pounds, which is a fairly light because I'm going to add the cranberry juice on top of it. So I intend to collect 5 gallon and only 5 gallon. I'm not going to go over. Okay, so I don't think I'll have a lot of boil off, because I have the lid on most time, and so usually I can retain everything that I put in there during the boil process. All right, here in a minute I'm going to measure the gravity and see where I am. I think it's about 1045. All right, I'll call it 1045. So based on that, my actual brew house efficiency is 61% instead of my original assumption 68%. Okay. For my yeast, I'm going to use the yeast I collected from my last batch, which was a California ale yeast. It's here. Collected quite a bit, so hopefully it's going to have a pretty good start. And my hops, I'm going to use pretty mild general purpose hops. Mount Hood, 4.5% alpha acid for my bittering hops, and Hallertauer, 4.6% alpha acid for aroma. I'm not going to make it very hoppy because the cranberries, I want to retain the cranberry flavor. Let the cranberry flavor be the main character, and I'm not going to have the hops going in there competing for the flavors. So hopefully it works out. I guess I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention before. It says 100% juice. Then it says it's a blend of 3 juices and no sugar added. And somewhere here it says, I think it's in the ingredients, it says it's a blend of apple juice and grape juice, I think. Alright, I guess the cranberry juice was originally too tart to drink. They sell this juice not for making beer, but for just general public to drink. So they added apple juice and the grape juice to add some sweetness to it. So somewhere here it says, I guess it says 30 grams sugar per serving, and it's got like a 12 servings in it, so it's like a 360 grams of sugar added to the total. 10 minutes left in the boil. Add Irish moss. Add the aroma house. Now I'm adding the cranberry juice to last. Here's my fermenter that I bought from eBay. It's pretty good. Down towards the bottom there's a couple of crappy welds, but it's not bad enough to cause any contamination or anything like that. I've brewed probably maybe 10 batches here already, and nothing ever happened to it. So always remember to add an extra valve here, extra shut-off valve here, because if this thing springs open, you know what's going to happen. So the final gravity, it doesn't really increase that much. It's about the same, maybe slightly higher. Yeah, it's about more or less the same. Alright, we call it 1045.